forward. So we got a special guest here for this week's Commentator's Curse because the Summit's going on. Introduce yourself, guy in the middle frame.
My name is Ryan Coker Welch, otherwise known as the Moon or La Luna.
La Luna.
La Luna.
La Luna.
So you're on the show, and we're gonna actually we already did Wizzy, and we're gonna have none later. And basically, what we're gonna do is you guys are like the finalists for the last phase of the Smash Summit voting, which has been like dominating the conversation of the Smash Twitter wars. And you had some close calls. You almost made it in already, but right now, you're on the final days. You're in like Majora's Mask, the last hours. Let's see if you can make it out.
Yeah, this is the third day. That's funny too. Majora's Mask.
Yeah, no, it works, man. And I said from the start that you were one of my favorites. I really wanted you to make it in personally, not just because you're a Mark, but because like you haven't been before, and I think you're a pretty funny guy. You'd be good for like the whole thing. And luckily, people are supporting you. I mean, to make it this far is also just really hard because we already see so many like popular players already, out of the running. Guys like Chillin, Professor Pro, Chudat, Lucky, Mike Hayes, et cetera, et cetera. Already out of it, right? And the next phase is actually the most brutal one. 2 make it, 2 leave. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Straight 50-50.
Dude, how are you feeling about this? Like, I'm so glad that I don't have to do this. Like, are you holding in? Are you stressed out? Like, what's going through your mind right now?
I mean, I'm not stressed out to the point like if I can't make it, I'm gonna die. But it's like stressful when you see the numbers, and you go, I know that's not the real numbers, because everybody's just waiting to do some Super Saiyan Spirit Bomb snipe at like 5 minutes, and then you're like, yo, how the hell did they get 19K? Like who like structured this plan? Who organized this? And then it's like you gotta wait for the next day. So it was like the energy builds up, and then it hits 6 o'clock East Coast, 3 p.m. West Coast, and then the energy dies again, and then it builds up, and then it dies. So it feels like it's like a triple elimination round. Like you lose the first 2 rounds, then the last round you're like in losers. So you just gotta go. You gotta go like all the way. You gotta go for it all the way. All the votes are pretty much all used. So any scrap counts. Like now is the time to like don't hold back and stuff.
Dude, it kind of reminds me of the Hunger Games. Have you watched the Hunger Games?
Yeah,
where like everyone's just like slaughtering each other, and then like it gets calm and everybody's hiding in their little corner. Let's see. Did you come with a list of questions, Blair, or?
I would just do off the top. I think that this phase is actually the most interesting because I think like the core voters, like if you're a hardcore Moon fan, you already put your votes in. I already put my votes in. I only had like 40 votes, whatever, on the summit, and I actually gave it to you, Moon. You were my dude that I put it in on. But I feel like the people who follow your stream, the people who are sub to you, whoever. Oh, actually, I still gotta give you a sub button. But the people who follow your stream, the Moon fans out there, they've already probably blown their load because they tried to get you in earlier. I think like the people at this point, where the votes lie are like the guys who already, their favorite players are maybe eliminated, or they're just getting on the last phase, whatever they want to save people at the last minute. I think it's like not only going to be about if you guys can touch your own fan base. It's going to be, can you touch the general fan base, right? Because I wonder, like how much left do the Wizzy fans have left in the bank? The Nun fans have left in the bank. It's tough out here.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah. So what's the case for the Moon? Why the Moon for Summer? In your own words.
Oh yeah, I'm always gonna say it in my own words. All right, so first and foremost, like who wouldn't want the Moon? And I'm not saying that just to speak in third person on purpose, but like who wouldn't want me at the summit? Like first of all, I'm always hanging with the chat. When I go to Xanadu, I ask for the chat. When I go for blood for blood, I try to get on, but I couldn't get on as much. I just like to make people laugh. I can like relate to people. They like normally get the inside of how I think, and I just make it fun in general. But besides that, I actually have improved as a player. I feel like recent performances should count toward the summit, but this is like all of like a popularity contest, which is kind of crazy, and that's what I just feel for now. I just want to get in. I hope everybody can just help me out, and I'm definitely gonna make it like make this fun, make this Smash Summit fun for everybody.
Dude. I'm just kind of curious, like, how do you think of the analogies you come up with? Because, like, I just die every time you go, like, y equals mx plus b. Like, how the hell do you, like, think of this kind of stuff? Like, because I think you're, like, really funny.
Okay, so that y equals mx plus b. It happened like many times when I played people, but I always think of Marth as like the precision or the precise character. Like you have to get your like tippers pinpointed, and I started thinking of like parabolas or like slopes or even like derivatives like on like a next level sequential math type of thing, or even further than that. So I was like, damn. I was like, you know why you tight? And when I said the word y, the first thing that thought in my mind was mx plus b. And I was like, you know why you tight? And then he was like, and I was like, cause you just mad cause you got hit with the y equals mx plus b. He just got intercepted. He tried to like dash away and he just got sliced like in his back. So Scar was like on tilt the whole night. And I was like, damn, you're not used to fighting East Coast anymore. Like he just left all his history, flew over to the West Coast. But these analogies normally come from like me watching anime or just being with my friends, and it just comes out of nowhere. I like when it's non-scripted. It just rolls off. It's not, you could tell I'm not thinking about it. It just happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm right and wrong at the same time, then that's how it is.
So you just have fun with it, and magic happens.
Yes, that's how everything should feel. It should feel a normal process. If you're gonna say something to your fans, it should feel genuine and normal. Not like, wait, I messed up. Let me just say this one more time. Then it's like, all right, the value of your speech becomes like degraded because it's like, all right, now you took too much time to say what you wanted to say, so you probably just wrote this down. That's too much work. But if you like president, obviously you need to get your vocabulary and sentence structures together.
So, gameplay aside, I think. When you hear stories about the summit and you're like, dang, this is like a great opportunity. You get 4 days, 4.5, or even a week if you go to Smash Summit 2.5, and you see that list of people. Like, who are you looking? What do you want to do with the weekend and the resources? Like, who are you aiming to practice with? Like, what do you want to do?
Oh, okay, so when I'm in the summit, I definitely want to practice with Dewan again, the Sheik mains. Because that matchup is pretty hard and fun at the same time. I want to play Armada, and I definitely want my run back. I want my run back on 2 people. I want my run back on Pew Pew, because had I not messed up that last fair, I definitely would have won Blood for Blood. And I want my run back on Mango, just to make sure that I'm still in tip top shape, and to let him know like you better not slack. Like this is 2013. Or 2012, you better bring your A game. Anytime that game says go, you better play your best. I don't want to hear I was tired. I don't want to hear I didn't feel like playing today. So that's why I actually want to go back to the summit, go to the summit in general, prove my point, and just interact with everybody and have a fun time.
Do you think there's like misconceptions about you as a player that you want to kind of get rid of?
Yeah, like some people feel like the concepts that I do as Marth, they question like my concepts, but I practice it all like over time, and eventually if I do a concept and it doesn't look nice, they go, wow, what was he thinking? But if I do the concept and it looks good, they're like, damn, he's actually really good. So some people have to realize players think outside of the box than the typical play-by-play book. And that's not me. I'm not a play-by-play book. So if you're looking for Marth play-by-play, go watch Mewtwo King. So I just want to clear that out.
I had a running thought. So can you give us you mentioned like people like say these things to you, can you give us like an example where like you have an idea that you feel is right, but other people disagree because it's a little bit abstract
Okay,
for us. So give us an example.
all right. So there was a time I played the Sheik in Texas, and he said I played really weird because I kept using dash attack very often, and he felt like that move was unsafe. But what he didn't realize was I used the dash attack anytime he did like a muscle memory movement. So I watched his movement, and anytime he did like fair jab and he would miss, he would just move back, and I'll catch him with the dash attack. And he was getting so pissed. He was like, I just honestly think you're just not thinking. You're just doing it, and I don't believe you. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't have to believe me, but I'm clearly catching like 3 to 4 times, and then I'll take his stock. Or there's other times he would ask me, why didn't you throw me off stage? And I was like, because you're gonna DI away, so I might as well forward throw you and like pivot kill you. And not a lot of people do that against Sheik. I actually been doing that against Stroom a lot, like forward throws, pivot F smash. And he's like, wow, this is actually really good. I never thought of it. So sometimes people think I have like weird concepts, but I could get quick kills just by doing that.
So one thing I want to talk about is we see like the people who've been voted in and stuff, and one reason I feel like Pew Pew especially was voted in because everyone wants to see him team with SFAT to see if how they do in teams. Now, I did like a basic run through of like who I think people will team with. I got Mango and S2J, Mewtwo Armada, SFAT Pew Pew, Plop and Hungry Box. But after that, I actually don't know who's teaming with who. If you got in, who would you team with?
My man Wesh Bausch and Stroom. Wesh Bausch and Stroom. Those are the 2 people right now on my list. And I actually talked to Plup one time. If worst case scenario, Hungry Box just randomly changed his mind, I don't want to team with Plup. Plup is also on my list too.
I see. So what do you like teaming with West Balls? What do you like about it?
All right. The one thing I like about teaming with West Balls, before he never used to know how to play teams. But now that he learned, the one thing that's good about him, one is his tech skill. He has amazing tech skill. He has great evasive movement, and he just shreds through people. It's like he's like a freaking Rottweiler or a pit bull, and you just let him loose. You're like, all right, man, go loose, go in the front, and he just, I'm Fox, I'm Falco, and you just see him hitting everybody, and I'm just sitting. I'll wait for the perfect moment, and I do like 2 to 3 hits. So that's why I like teaming with Wes. He can actually get out. He's really slick in 2v1s. That's a good thing I need as a teammate to 2v1 because Marth can't do that by himself. So I like that. With Stroom, I love teaming with Stroom because he understands teams in and out. Plus he plays with PewFat a lot. So that was just another great perk to that. And his Sheik is crazy. Like, he plays really aggro, so people expect the opposite from Sheik. They expect her to be laid back. But in teams, he's over there, running across the screen, smacking you, doing his little Ninja Gaiden platforms, and she'll drop in on your face. So it makes it cool, and I'm like, damn, I could actually work with this. And it just makes it fun.
So, you haven't ever teamed with Shrew before, right?
In friendlies we did, but never in tournament.
I mean, I think NorCal, a lot of the NorCal guys actually respect you a lot in teams. I think one of the players, I think SFAT put you in like the top 5, and I'm just wondering, this is kind of like sidetracking a bit, but like, who are you played with a lot of teams players, you understand teams, like who do you think are like the best players? Not in order, but like clearly understand teams.
All right, so my list is actually going to be similar. West Balls is a new addition now after I played with him. But people I think is actually really good in teams is the PewFat combination, UGS combination, Mewtwo King because his ability to stay alive and just like I said earlier, deep sea dive and go out the stage and kill you. I wouldn't say Hungry Box is much of a team player, but he knows how to stage position himself. So he's like a honorable mention. I like DJ as my partner personally because I could trust him when I toss them into stuff. Flup he reminds me of like his awareness is crazy. Like there's times when I didn't think he would see me, and he's like, nah. Like we have the same screen, so we could screen look like Halo days. So he could actually see me, and I'm like, damn, he knew. I really like drug foxing teams. So it was with the UGS boys, Pew Fat, West Bausch, Stroom, DJ, Club,
What about that boy Ice?
Mewtwo King. Oh yes, that's why I put my fingers out. I like the way Ice plays in teams, and I'll say for the last person, he's actually like European. I'll say Professor Pro. I actually like the way Pro plays in teams.
Okay. But all right. But you got to make a statement. Who do you
Yeah.
think is the best teams player in the world right now?
The best teams player.
Straight up.
If
Straight
you
up and
only
down.
had to pick one.
So if you had to pick that player and he's like he can adapt on any team.
Whatever your
Maybe.
definition is. Whatever your
Maybe.
definition of best teams players. You can tell us what your definition is, and then based on your definition of best teams player, you just say who you think is the best that qualifies for that.
All right. So my definition of best team player is when somebody that can like mesh well with anybody amongst the players that actually understand teams, not just any player. Like already the top players that can understand teams.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and this one is rough because there's so many, it's so good at them. But I would have to say, Armada.
See, that was both. I think both me and Tapo said that too, right?
Yeah, his combos and like stage position is just super well in teams. And I seen him team with multiple players, so I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
If we were to play divorce court here, let's say we're at, I don't know, Genesis 4, and everybody's there, and no one has a teammate, and for whatever reason, you got to team with whoever you wanted. Who would that be?
If I had to team with whoever I wanted,
Like, let's say for whatever reason you had your cream of the crop choice. No one was teaming with each other. Who fits Ryan the best?
And DJ Sick.
okay.
You can't choose.
You
You can't choose with your heart.
All right.
You can't choose with your heart.
And
Okay.
we love your boy DJ, but we're just gonna say, I know that we don't want to create drama here, so DJ is
Yeah.
excluded from this question.
Yeah.
All right, okay, that's perfectly fine. It would have to be a toss-up between Armada and SFAT.
I'm curious why. So you mentioned Armada, adapts to everybody well, but is there any other reason why Armada?
Because one, he has this crazy like knowledge, like Wikipedia of knowledge. So I know if I start messing up, I'd be like, yo, how do I do this? How do we stop this guy? And he's either gonna tell me stay back, stick with me, or just like play your game. And so it was between those two. And I'll say SFAT because I always wanted to do like the Moon Fat connection, and I actually played with SFAT a lot, and we were kind of like destroying people, and I'm like, damn, this is kind of sick. And he's like, don't worry, one day we'll team. But that has to. I don't think that's gonna happen in the long run, unless like what happened right now. If DJ is sick, if Kevin is sick. So between SFAT and Armada.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because like he's probably the player in the world who's teamed with Marth the most.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a pretty sick combo. Like, what if you and like it was DJ Pew Pew versus Moon SFAT? Like, what happens there? Like, what if you guys did the swap?
Oh, that would be so much fun. And then if we do like double Marth or against double Fox, I think me and Kevin would murder the Foxes.
You think so? That's tough.
Yeah, man. That's you say that we both understand Marth. People say we can't kill in teams, so best believe we kill.
Slice.
Yeah. We have it.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I said always just have, like hashtag self, hashtag 20BC. We're just in the Game of Thrones gauntlet, just slicing all the Fox meats.
That actually sounds like a really, cool team. what was I had a train of thought I had here. Well, what do you think about Marthan teams? Because you like Marthan teams. Kevin is a believer. I'm pretty sure Blur is like one of the biggest Marth fanboys in existence. But what do you think Marth's role in teams are, and why do you think a lot of people get it wrong?
Okay. One thing that they get about Marth, they say he can't kill, and when they say that, they mean like a quick move, and you can hit him anywhere, like anywhere on the hitbox. But Marth can actually kill. He just can't kill just as great as Fox. Well, anytime they say he can't kill, they compare it to like Fox or Falcon because of the knee of justice. But the greatest thing he has that a double Fox team doesn't have is space control, and controlling space is really annoying. If you have another Marth on the field, it creates too much like nuisance, and I'm like, why this guy playing Marth? I only want to be the Marth on the field, and I get that presence already where they say, oh, Marth can't do anything, I'm just gonna try to like run up on him, and they forget that he could just move in and out. He's like swift like butter. So there's times where Fox can't do certain things without trying to take a risk, where Marth can do certain things. So say like if Hungrybox is fighting PewFat team, you could actually put Kevin in the front, and it will be way more annoying for Hungrybox to do anything. Whereas if you put SFAT in the front, there's a potential chance that he could just get like bared too many times, and then it becomes super scary now, because now your Fox is really hurt. Whereas if your Marth is hurt, the Fox can immediately react and do something crazy, like grab the jigs or like up smash him and stuff. And if Marth gets that one grab, it is like pretty much over. The other thing about Marth, people tend to leave him alone, and he has that presence where people say, I don't think he's gonna do anything to me, and that's mistake number one. Marth can actually like annoy you to the maximum. So they have to be careful. Marth may not kill, but that's the point of teams. Let Fox just kill you all day.
Makes sense.
Yeah. One thing I like to bring up sometimes that people like don't notice or don't mention is that like they're like, oh man, okay, cool, I got a double Fox team. You put one Fox together with another Fox, how much better you can get? And the answer, I mean, obviously, yeah, that's a pretty good team. But like you use the Jigglypuff example. If like Hungrybox is on, let's say, the right side of the screen, Marth's in the middle, Marth can just stand there, and
exactly.
then like you have a 1v1 on the other side where Marth is closer to help, right? So like the Puff can't get in there, and the Marth, if anything ever happens wrong in the 1v1, is right there to pick up the damage. So it's like that sort of stuff, like space control, has like really changed in teams. Like it's mattered more and more, right? And that's one reason why I think Armada is good too, because Peach actually can do that a little bit too with her float, right? With the float, when you put like a Fox on top platform, you put a Peach in the middle floating, or you put a Marth on bottom and you put a Fox on top or behind him, like that's just like you can't. It's so hard to get in on that, right? So I don't know. I think that a lot of the teams meta is evolving that way. Like I think people are thinking about it a little bit differently now.
True. Well, another thing, sometimes they say Marth can't go in the front, but the way I see it is, if I'm in the front and I'm fighting a Fox, I'd rather have Fox fight Marth than the Fox diddle sometimes, because I have the range, and his teammate has to wait in the back anyway. So it's almost considered like a mini one-on-one. As long as I don't grab or something, I could just do like 2 down tilts. The Fox will still be in the front, and then say like his other teammate has to wait in the back, unless he just wants to friendly fire his teammate, which that's not a smart choice. So that's what I try to tell people. Sometimes it's not, if Marth is in the front, he's just gonna get destroyed. It's like, no, his teammate has to wait just as much as my teammate has to wait in the back. You gotta trust your teammate. If your teammate gets hit once, don't try to immediately attack right behind him, because you might hit him, and then he's gonna get hit again, and then that's it. Then you're gonna be like, why didn't you just wait? I could have crouch canceled and did something.
So like, before, like, so I haven't really talked to you too much about gameplay, like other than like we chat, we say hi to each other at events, but like I think you showed like how cerebral you are about the game when you went on the Scar and Toe show, right? And so I guess like for yourself, like how do you go about, continuing to improve, and what are you doing right that so many Marths are struggling with? Because it's a painful path for Marth to improve. Like he's a really difficult character to learn, I feel.
Yeah. So one thing I do, every day I practice like home, probably for like 2 hours. I practice all my pivots. The most important thing with Marth, you just have to practice movement. If you're slipping and sliding on the ground, nobody's not gonna catch you ever. Or at least, if you're really consistent with it, most of the time you won't get caught. So that's one thing. Another thing, you just gotta have that fire. You gotta have that burning fire to like realize if I keep playing this character, is the replay value worth it to keep playing him regardless if you have 50-50 matchups, 50-45 matchups, I guess you could say 55-45. So whenever I play like Sheiks or Puffs or even Peaches, it helps build my endurance because I'm like, all right, man, I'm not a Foxman. I just can't be lazy and drill shine and then get a free grab. I actually have to put in all this work. So it builds my stamina mentally. So then I start to say nothing is easy for me. I gotta earn all these kills. And since he's such an honest character, I don't want to hear from nobody. Oh, Martha's stupid. And I was like, I literally had to like read your DI. I had to guess your jump. I had to put you in a combo. Whereas if it's like Fox or Sheik, down throw fair, like that's no brainer. But for some characters you can't down throw fair. Most of the characters you can. Or for some characters you could up throw up air. Most of the characters you can't. So that's why I actually like playing Marth, because he's just a character that I like. I like reads. I like hard reads. I like to get in their mind mentally, and it's like, all right, you lost the game before the game even said start.
So you bring up a very interesting thing on Scorn Toph. I like to bring that up again. So, and one trait that I really noticed about you is that you're really good at adapting. So, like, how do you go about that process, especially when you play a good player that you probably never played before but you respect? What's your thought process?
My first thought process is like, most likely I'm gonna lose first game because I want to try stuff. That's the first thing I tell myself. I know I might lose first game just by trying this stupid dash attack or run up grab or turn around up tilt. So I'm always losing first game. But down the line, I just tell myself, that's all right. I still got one more game. And yes, I'm down, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I have all of this knowledge. They beat me so fast, or they like took advantage of me making these mistakes. They only know half of my strategy. So you're kind of like improving on the fly. It's like, you work out, you get stronger, and then you let yourself heal, and then you get more stronger. So it's kind of like that, but in that split second, I just learned a lot of stuff. Oh, every time I throw him on the ground, he always spot dodge shine. Next time I'm gonna just throw him on the ground and I'm gonna pivot F smash him. He's gonna crouch cancel, slide off the stage, and then I'm gonna fair him. Or it could just turn into another situation. So I always think of the first game as the game data game, and then from there I was like, all right, I could probably do this.
So you're giving me props for me winning the second game instead of the first one against you. I'm totally
Yeah.
So for you, like, if we're talking about the origins of the moon, I think the first time me and you met, or at least I heard about you or whatever, was like Apex 2012, and by that point you were playing for like a year, I think.
Yeah.
And what was crazy to me, this is back when I was there in my player days, I was like watching your Mars, watching you get better. I was like, man, this guy got good really, really quickly from that point. Like, so how did it really start out? Like, how did you start playing Smash? How did you get better so fast? And how have you then, used that, to like kind of grow from there?
All right. So I started playing a bit in 2010, but I did play a lot. I started being really active in 2011. My friend Tarek Johnson, he introduced me to the game because I did a ledge attack to him. Like I grabbed the ledge, pressed down, and I jumped and nared him. So he's like, wow, you know how to do that? Because the whole school, he was just destroying them. I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, I'm going to teach you how to play the game. Played the game a lot in college, and D1 also went to the same college as us. So I'll play a lot of matches with D1, and I always wanted to play teams, but he always wanted to play singles. Eventually, I would go to D1's house, and D1 he's like a knowledge fanatic, so he would teach me a couple of tips and tricks here and there, and eventually I surpassed him, and I was like, hey, you know any other players? He passed me on to DJ, and that's when I learned all my knowledge, like a lot of my knowledge from DJ. DJ was around for so long playing multiple different characters. He's like a jack of all trades. I started to learn many different matchups, but I started to play like off slow. He was like, just wait for people to spot dodge. People was afraid of Marth to grab. And back then, everybody was just spot dodging left and right. So I would just wait. And I'm beating players already higher than me within like 6 months and stuff. Eventually, you know, I started to improve, go to more tournaments, had more faith in myself. And by 2013, I felt like I was solidified as like maybe top 64 player. So I was like, all right, now I need to push myself further. I started watching even more videos, studying other videos that didn't consist of me to figure out if I could find habits that may be good for me at the end. And then by 2014, I was like, all right, I think I'm good. And then my future self reflected on my old self, and I was like, damn, I sucked. I definitely was not as good as I thought. I was actually going to go out to the first Kings of Cali, and I was like all high and mighty. And then when I saw everybody there, I was like, I would have lost. And then what pushed me further was like G Money, DJ. They all told me, let's practice. And now I'm here until this day.
So one thing I find interesting about that is that, like, you know, we see one thing I like to say is that everyone grows at a different rate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really went through like the struggle phase. You know, within 6 months, you're already beating people, right? And you had really, really good mentors like early on, you know. But after that, like, you know, you've kept growing. I think especially in the last year and a half, you've grown very fast. How has that changed? Is that like in that first 6 months, you know, did you feel like there were a lot of players maybe who, you know, you were taking out power rank players left and right, you know, just like on the 6 months of the first year. Did you feel like a lot of tension between you and like the people in New York who were, you know, supposed to be better than you know, as you were just taking them out?
They wouldn't say it to me directly, but out here here and there, like, oh man, all this kid does is F smash. But the funny thing about the F smash is I was tippering them like left and right, and it's like, you could call it what you want, but you dying by it anyway. And there was people like, yo, I think this kid is gonna get good. It was like, nah, I don't think he's not gonna be this good. There's like, I think he's actually gonna be better than J-Man. And then I remember this Christmas was like, nah, I don't think so. And because, you know, I was still new to the game. She was like, nah, he's not gonna be just as good as J-Man. And eventually, like, I just started climbing up the ranks. And then I was like, all right, he may be just as good as Hacks. And it was like, all right, you're kind of pushing it. And there was a time where I just couldn't beat Hacks at all. But I was like, I like this because now I'm going to learn him until I learn everything about him. And then one day I'm going to beat him. And that day finally came, but it came after he already had hand problems. So it was like, I could never get that opportunity to beat him when he was like at his best. Like everything he saw, like he just had like that amazing skill that he could just see everything you're doing. And I feel like I have somewhat of that skill since I played him, and I see a lot of like patterns, and I'm like, oh, now I understand why he would like pivot nair and stuff. People used to make fun of Hacks nair, like pivot nair, but he was the one that was killing people with it.
You know, like a lot of your growth came from the New York scene, like basically taking you under their wing as like the chosen son really early on. You talk about Hacks, you talk about J-Man, dude, but you look at like modern New York, and you're like the guy. You know, what's happened, man? There was like a point where you can make an argument that Tri-State, like straight up best region in the world. Like back when it was like Vans, Hacks, J-Man, Mutual King,
HBK,
HBK, Tech Zero. Like that was like the golden era of Tri-State, and now it's probably relative to other regions, probably the weakest it's ever been. Like what do you think needs to change there? Because there seems to have been a big drop off.
Yeah. One thing, just some people they don't travel, so they're only used to the NYC play style. Another thing is people say they want to get better, and then you have like a really hard session where they have to mentally think, and then they just give up. I don't want to play no more. Uh, I'm done for today, and that's okay. You could be done for today, but just don't get mad when you go to a tournament and then you don't place well, and you're like, oh man, I don't want to play this game. And it's not like the old days are done now. Like everybody's shield dropping on you. I can't even up to the jigs on platform anymore without worrying about getting rested. So like you can't do stuff like that like you used to. Everything is not easy. People are actually there's a couple of people leveling up, but they still like hit a bump in the road. And there's times when I hit bumps in the road, but there's days where I can feel that I improve. Like it just rushes through me, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually moving better than I was 3 hours ago or 5 days ago. And I told this to Shroom when we was playing. I was like, yo, I'm playing better now, because at first I told him I think I could beat you, and he goes, nah, I don't think you can. That night we played, he goes, all right. He goes, real talk, Ryan. He's like, I think you are good as I thought you were. You're actually really good. And I was like, yeah, I felt that improvement. Whenever I hit a road in the block, I feel it, and I do some new technique, and I go, wow, I broke that wall that I was like looking for. And I will ride with that technique until I like integrate it into my play. But that's what New York City doesn't do. Some people, let's play $1 singles matches, ha ha ha, laughing it up, and they don't want to practice. Like, and we tell them, don't do this, don't do that. I don't tell everybody, because I can't like clone myself and tell everybody don't do this, don't do that. But they just have to have the fire. They have to have the fire themselves. You can only teach them so much, and they have to learn how to do it. Like J Flex has been improving. Just Jason has been improving, but they haven't improved as quick as I have. And the only reason why, I kind of got lucky. I was like the middle child of the Melee era, right? I came in the era when Melee was dying. It was in the dark ages, and Brawl was like showing up. So there was times I used to see Nairo, I used to see Anti, Poyo, Faust, Nakat, Kitaro, all at these Brawl tournaments while we were in the side, in the corner of a Melee tournament. I would see the Buzz, all of them. And there was a time we get like 10-man people, 15 people, and that was like really good for us back then. We were happy for that. And I practiced my ass off. And at that time, it was straight bracket. You know how it was, Blur. You get in, you get O2, go practice. And the new era, the new era changed. Like it started fading. Like by like 2011, 2012. Oh, no more. Let's go straight bracket. Let's start doing pulls. So I was in the era between straight bracket. You got destroyed. You better get better. And then I got into the era of like, all right, let's do a whole round robin and get more bang for your buck. And then you're just playing hopeless games that just gives you false hope, because you lose like 3 times, but they tell you to play 3 other people. And then you could actually mess up their record. Like if you didn't like somebody, you go, I'm gonna let Susie and Johnny go through, but I don't like Derek, so I'm a 2-0 him, and then I'm gonna get 1-2 by these 2 people, and then they advance through round robin. So there was like stuff like that. Then I started playing Swiss, and I was like, yo, I don't like none of these stuff. Let's just go back to straight bracket. And at first they was against it. They was trying to like say, oh no, but then people want to play friendlies, and then I just had to blow them up. I was like, all right, listen. When we did do round robin, people was leaving after they got eliminated, so they don't want to play friendlies. They was like, I don't know, I think this is gonna change the scene. They switched it to bracket, and the same thing that happened when it was round robin, they all left. They still left, and I was like, you see, you guys don't want to play friendlies. You guys want more matches in round robins, and they're worthless. I would tell them, you know, if you lose 3 times, you got to play these 3 other people, and it doesn't mean anything. You're just going to affect their score. I know. So why not just play friendly? Oh, well, it kind of feels different because it's in tournament, but you lost already. And that's the difference between my era and their era. I had to like play from getting 0-2 every day to possibly doing 1-2 to possibly doing 2-0 and stuff, where they just get round robins and they take it more lighter.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about that era that you're talking about, the 16-man tournament, we do a bracket, and then we're done for the day, is that all those 16 people were hella good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nowadays, if you get you're not going to get 0-2 for more than 6 months, right? Like, yeah. But back then, it's like, you had kids who were getting 0-2 for like 3 years.
Yes.
Because the best, the people, you know, who were the 15th best in the tournament were like people who've been playing for like 7 years. You know, like so it's like hard to like overcome them. You know, ever, right? So
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot. You know, there's some things that help people come into the scene. I do agree a lot. You can't build that fire sometimes. Sometimes you know you can do all you want. I try to coach people without fire. It's basically just a waste of time. And you got you got to get that first. You got to get that love of the game deep down inside.
You know, I actually refuse to tutor people with no drive. And this goes with academia too,
Mm-hmm.
because I realized it was a waste of my time too.
I mean, I actually feel like that's one thing I feel about schooling. You know, people they force kids to stay in school, sit in these chairs and stuff, and then the kids act like they're it's like they're owed something. You ain't owed nothing. People are spending their time to teach you something, right?
Yeah.
They spend their own time. And so, like, the way I wish school would change. I wish school would be like, oh, you don't want to pay attention, you're not doing your homework. Congrats, you don't go to school now. Now you just, that's it. It's over, right? Like, all these, like, second, third, fourth, fifth chances. People got to realize, you gotta appreciate your teachers, man. You got to appreciate everybody.
That's true, and is that people forget is a tournament. It's not a fest. The tournament is to showcase your skills. The fest go through 10,000 trillion matches at a fest because that's the most they always want to try. They always want to try and fight. Hey Moon, hey blah blah blah, hey so you wanna play, and they'll go hard. They'll go super hard. They'll try to edge guard you, roll from the ledge. They won't take any chances jumping off the stage. They just stick to the playbook. And then when they get into tournament, well, I expected to lose. I was like, but you didn't feel like that when we were playing friendlies. You was trying your hardest. Why you not trying now? All you have to do is try. In a matter of seconds, it's 8 minutes per game. If it's a best out of 3, the most is 60 minutes. Just try your hardest within those 60 minutes. You're probably gonna get sliced or kicked in like 2 minutes. But so what? Try it. That's what I told myself. When I was at Big House, I had to play lucky first round. I was like, yo, this is gonna be mad hard. 64 is already hard. I like the way this feels, but I don't care. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna make sure he don't take none of my stocks. I'm gonna make it super difficult for him. I want to hear him sigh. I want to hear him roll his eyes. I even want to hear him suck his teeth. That's how much I wanted to keep playing and advancing through bracket. And I was like, he better do the same thing. And that pushes you when you have like another person that could play on your level. And nothing is free, it pushes you to say, I want to surpass this guy to the point where the gap is so huge, he could never touch me. But yeah, both thinking of the same thing, so the gap keeps going together as you like grow. The gap is staying tight together. That's the same thing with Mango and Armada. They could never like utterly destroy each other unless one of them is playing sloppy. Same thing with Hungry Box and Armada. They can never destroy each other unless one of them is playing sloppy. And you could see it. You could just be like, oh, he missed that rest. He would have got that kill. But some people, they selfish. I don't care. I take those. Whatever makes them win, I take those. And it's like, yo, you want to see good melee or you want to see horrible melee? Which one you want to see? You just want him to win or you just want him to lose? Like, I want them to lose, but with good commentary, good play, everything. So like the younger group can look up to these videos and see like, this is who I want to play like. This is what I want to do, rather than somebody just getting destroyed and then they're gonna like not really pay attention to the video. They just only pay attention to the person that's just destroying that player. And it's like, wow, you don't even know half of the story. You don't even know half of the battle. He could have did better.
So just from listening to you talk, it seems like a lot of things, you're identifying in your improvement in others as mindset, and you come across as a very, confident guy. And so how did your mindset get so good? Okay,
so I told this earlier in my stream. Back in school, back in middle school, high school, and college, there was days where you had presentations like science projects and stuff. And yeah, it may not sound like it relates to Melee, but it really does. Like, there was times where I just wasn't confident in doing a science project because you have all eyes on you. People were laughing, ha ha ha, ki. And and I think to it. Look, I'm on stage now. They all looking at me. I gotta present. I can't freeze up. Some days you do freeze up, some days you don't. But all I said in my mind, when it's their turn, is like my turn to look at them and let's see how they do. Sometimes they do worse things. Like, oh, look at you snickering in the corner and laughing. But when you get up on stage, you froze. You didn't even say a sentence. You just broke down. And sometimes that's how I feel in Melee. People just give up immediately. And no matter if somebody is better than me, I would just tell them, listen, I don't care what number you are. You could be number 20, 15. I told this to Hugs. I told this to Mango. I told this to MacD. I told this to Dewan. I told all of them. I said, you could say whatever number you want. But when we play, you know this is going to be rough. You know this is going to be hard. You know you're going to have to work just to take my stocks. I don't care what number you are. I know what number I am in my mind. I could be labeled as number 63, 59. I don't care. But when I beat you, it's just going to look just as worse because you want to label me as number 63 in the world or 28 in the world. And it's like, oh, damn, the Moon beat number 10 in the world. And it's like, no duh, because it's almost equal skill level. It's just you miss a couple of games or you flub or you taint your performance. So I feel like that's where I got my confidence was just school, projects, and like presenting yourself. That's why there's times when I did that rap on the Topher Scar show, I knew I was going to mess up. But it's the fact that I did it. People gave me respect. They understood like, all right, he could have just not rapped and like hyped them up and then been all stupid about it and be like, nah, I'm too nervous. And then, you know, that's like, what? Why did you do that to us? So it's either you go with the flow or you just stay low.
So there was a really dope interview for SFAT recently that was posted. I'm not sure if you saw it.
Yeah.
And he said that a turning point for him was he was playing against Armada, and he was asking Armada for advice against people who are much better than him. You know, like much better than him. And Armada just looked at him like confused. He was like, SFAT, there's no one who is much better than you at Super Smash Brothers. You're amazing, basically, is what Armada said. And like, for a person like SFAT, like actually, like that interview really opened my eyes. So I was like, a person like him, because he was, you know, top 20 in the world for a very long time, and then for him to suddenly break out like that was kind of crazy. I've noticed also with you, the way you talk about the game, you seem to have a lot of confidence. You don't ever really seem to have like a supreme fear of guys like Hungry Boxer, Armada, or anything like that. You realize they're human too. What for the other players of your level, especially because there's a lot of them who have stayed around the same level for a while, like, you know, the Luckies, the SUJs, the Silent Wolves, you know, who have like, you know, they're really, really good and they are getting better, but not getting better fast enough to catch up. What advice do you have to them? And, you know, of course, for yourself, how do you like try to maintain that mentality that looks like at least SFAT started believing himself and got?
All right. So when first, I never used to think mentally preparation was a thing. It's just sometimes I just wake up and I won't practice because that's how I feel. If I over practice, I'll mess up. So for me, I don't like to over practice. But one advice I can give, when you're playing against one of those high level players, the first option you think about doing, just immediately scratch it out because you guys are all starting off fresh. So when the game first starts, you're probably thinking like, oh, maybe I should just back up and let them approach me. First thing they're gonna do is just run a train on you because they already feel your presence is low. You gotta prove to them like I can hang with you. So there's times where you gotta think outside of the box, or when you're playing, you gotta think of everything. Don't let nothing like drop. And that's kind of what I did at Big House. I like let my combo drop, and I wasn't thinking about it at the time. But I reflected on it, and I was like, next time, finish the food. So you have to think about all your options. Sometimes you gotta play extra lame. That's what you gotta do when you fight these players because they expecting you to do the first move all the time. Anytime I fight SFAT, he wants me to do the first move. Anytime I fight Hungry Box, he tries to make you look stupid, and he just wants you to do the first move. So don't always feed into their aura. Oh, he's Mango or the Wong factor. Don't feed into the aura. Just play your game. Go for options. Don't keep second guessing because if you always think like that, you're not gonna do the option you want. There's many times I missed many dash attacks, many F smashes. The one thing people forget is not everybody is gonna be alert when you do miss an attack. There's times where I see the Fox dash stands up smash and nobody's ready for it because they expected them to do a different option. So there's times just do your option, do the option, but make sure it's educated. Make sure it looks smart. It's like, oh, I can see what he was trying to do, but he ended up rolling to the left instead of the right. At least he's still safe. Don't just like wait, and then you see him tech in place, you don't do anything, you run away. And it's like, at least try it. Don't just go out there empty-handed.
So let's see.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
have-
you were just
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just giving it a little bit of time warning to also be fair for none. Last 5 minutes.
Sure. So you just talked about the gods and when you play them and all the other players too. Of the gods, who do you feel like you have the easiest time with, and who do you feel like you have the hardest time with?
On a good day, Jason and Mango is the easiest. Because they play, well, Jason plays Marth. So there's sometimes I'll do good against his Marth. But most of the time, I'm always taking out his Sheik sometimes. Well, sometimes I take out his Sheik. Mango, because he plays Space Animals, so it's kind of easy to combo them. And the two hardest, it has to be Armada and Hungry Box, based on their characters alone. It's just, they're too good at dodging stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're weaker in floating matchups than spacey matchups, or is it just that they're so good with floaties that it's harder to get a win off?
Slightly. I feel like my skill against floaties should be higher than what it is right now, and that's why I take more time to just play extra lane. Like if I'm playing against Sheik, Puff, or Peach, I can't do the crazy dash attacks that I want to do like I do on Space Animals, because I might just get randomly down smash, and then I just get tumbled to the ground, and I take like 60. So there's times where I just tell myself, just poke away. They can't beat me with pokes. As long as I'm playing my neutral way better than them, they won't win. And then it takes too long. It's like, damn man, why are they playing so lame? Why they play this annoying character? Why does she have a float cancel that lasts 4 seconds? Why this character has rest? Why can't she float? And you start thinking about all this stuff. But when you start erasing that out of your mind, you know what? No more complaining. This character has this. This character has that. I got this big long sword. Then they start getting mad. So, oh, this character's dumb. Like, there's times where they say that. Like, the gods would say stuff like that if you start destroying them. This character's dumb. It's like, your character's dumb. It's like, you forcing me to play like this. I have to dance all day because your dash attack has a better priority than me. I just can't be getting crazy.
Mm. Is there any kind of closing thoughts that you want to leave with the viewers? Like, how do they support you? How are you organizing your hidden spirit bomb? Who should they contact?
All right. Well, yeah, I'm working on a spirit bomb now. The best I could say, guys, just try to get me in. I'm definitely, if I do get in, you already know, I always talk to the chat, always hang out with the chat. I'm not gonna leave you flat like that. And there's not much to say because this is the last day. This is like doomsday, guys. Like, I'm gonna need you guys' help for real on this one.
Yeah, this is the next one's gonna be crazy. So for those who just joined us, the last day is tomorrow, right? It's gonna end pretty soon. In 18 hours of the taping of the show, we're gonna know which two made it, which two didn't. If you are a Moon fan, if you're a Smash Mage participating in any form, Moon right now you have a small lead. But if you guys have been paying attention at all, these things have been decided within like the last 30 seconds to a minute because everyone just stores it up. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a 4-way tie, and any of the people can win. It's all going to come down to it. So Moon, thank you for joining us. It was really cool to get insight into your mind and like how you view the game and your come up as a player, and it's definitely inspiring for me because I'm a Mark player, and even though I don't really play anymore, I definitely relate on some of that stuff. And I hope you make it in because it'd be tight to hang out with you in LA. But thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
We'll definitely show you some good SoCal food if you're around.
The taco spots.
Dude, we have everything, man. Although New York is pretty good too. So, all right. Thanks for coming on, and we wish you best of luck. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thank you.
All right, how do we?
Peace, Ryan.
Peace.
All right, how do we end? Okay.
All right, guys.